With our GF2P pump shotgun, I've disassembled it. We had some trouble with loading shells into the magazine. Now I described what happened where they put Loctite down, would be where this thread's in, they put the Loctite in, it excessively got into the tube, and then it glued this end cap into the tube. Now I tried to clean it up. It did harden back up once I scraped most of the crap off and that. And I was worried that it was in the tube, but it appears that firing it, the shotgun shells scraped out all the residue. So the tube is clean. The only thing is this cap is messed up. I've ordered another one for Mossberg 500. Hopefully it's made out of sheet metal and it should fit in there. But I've noticed several design flaws. This is the first problem, and this is where the reason these guns cost so little is the materials and the quality of the stuff they put in there and cut corners. Now this is the magazine spring, okay? This should glide in this tube, but it doesn't. It kind of hangs up because it's all tore up and rough. So hopefully replacing that would solve that problem. Now it comes to the cap on the end. Okay, this thing is plastic, and how it goes in, if you notice these notches here, engage in two cutouts in the tube here. Okay, this slides in, locks in there, and holds the spring and everything inside the tube. Generally, it's usually a piece of round sheet metal that you compress, slide in, and tap down in there. Okay, you can take them out with a screwdriver. But this, when I found it, was one of these little arms was bent. And I believe what happened is when I was putting it in, okay, when you see this, the spring can latch around this and bend it like that, which it's not holding it in place. So this was deformed. I tried bending it back, it's soft. And what will happen is if this fails, which I believe it's gonna fail, it's gonna get screwed up to where it won't lock in place anymore. One of the tabs got tore up a little. I don't know if you can see it, it's really rough, cut into the metal. So when you take this cap off, this will all shoot out of the gun every time you go to take the barrel off to clean it. So this is going to fail. Now another problem is, and we're going to look at another part that broke on this thing, and it was just from assembly disassembly. You can't get replacement parts. I've heard of several people telling me, you know, like Rod with that shotgun where the wooden forearm split, they don't have replacement parts. These people just buy the gun, there's a few accessories, magazine tube extensions and clamp-on stuff, and I think with the extended mags they'll send you another spring, but they don't give you a cap, another cap, or any of the little individual parts that are numbered in the back of the thing. There's nobody selling you them. Okay? So the reason the shotgun, I got it for 110 bucks is because this stuff here, they're cutting corners using plastic that should be metal. They glued the thing together, and this is going to fail. I know this. This is eventually, it's going to just, through use, this ain't going to hold up. It's not durable. Okay? And that's what the guys were complaining, like with the receivers. It's not a durable material. And even though the gun will function and shoot fine, over time the stress will create a failure. So we got issues here. I'm going to replace this. I'm going to try to put this back together, bend it, be careful, and really take my time getting the spring in there. And it is a pain in the ass. Okay? But this ain't good. So this may have been the cause of the magazine problem. I don't know. But I found something a little bit more serious, and we'll look at that next. Okay, next problem, the trigger group. The trigger group slides into the receiver, and it's held in place with these two pins. Now, if you notice, these pins have a notch on them. Well, they're supposedly in that tube or hollow pin, whatever this piece of sheet metal thing is. There should be a little spring that clips onto that and holds these in place. That's why them grooves are cut in both places and are on both of these pins. I noticed the rear one was loose and very easily came out. Upon looking at the trigger group, and we'll zoom in here to do this. Okay, here's a trigger group, and here, this hole here and this hole here are where these pins go. These pins also hold together a lot of the damn components of this trigger group. Now, if you notice on this forward one, there's this spring right here that locks in. You can see it there where it catches the groove on those cross bolts that go in. This rear one here, it should be in there, but if you can see, this is broken off where it was cut out for that spring. Somehow that snapped right off. A hunk of the pin is missing and the spring is missing. So that's why that pin, when I put it in there, just slides freely in there. It doesn't latch in. That's broken off. Now, it was on there when I reassembled this, okay? Unless I broke it and it fell out. I've looked inside the gun and tried to find where the part is, the hunk of metal and the little spring clip, but they're gone. And even if you had a spring clip, the way this is made, there's a slot cut into this, and this is wrapped around. So this is broken, okay? There's no way to fix this. That means that rear pin can fall out during operation of this firearm. Okay, this is a serious problem. Then again, where do you get replacement parts? There are none. Okay, and then sometimes they won't sell you a single little part. They'll sell you the whole damn trigger mechanism. Other than that, if parts are available. But already, this is a serious issue. Okay, that means that pin will come out. And if you try to like Loctite the pin in, then if you have to pull the gun apart to clean it or something, you're going to have trouble getting that pin out if you permanently kind of seal it in there. And like with the receiver tube, Loctite could get into the mechanism and gum it up. Then you're royally screwed. So this inferior quality, even though, hey, yeah, man, it's a pump shotgun, it's pretty neat, and it's cheap. I mean, you know, it's dirt cheap. But if the thing's falling apart just from taking it apart, putting it back together again, and it's going to fail like this and turn into a $110 piece of useless junk, okay? Honestly, guys, now that we're just basically getting into this, I'm going to have to change my whole opinion of this. These little tiny issues can add up, and I see them, like with this thing, over time, completely failing. You can't get replacement parts. And this here, with the trigger group, it's kind of serious, because say you go and you are using this to defend yourself and you bump this stock hard when you grab the gun, and this pin comes out and it dislodges the trigger group, and now you got to where the gun won't fire. Something's out of alignment. You know, your trigger group's half out or moving. Now you're talking, you know, the gun is non-functional. We go from, oh yeah, an issue or something to non-functional. Now, what I've seen about support on these guns, one individual had something like a M4 clone, and it was a bit more expensive than this. And the guy was shooting it, and the stock and spring and it all fell off, and he tried contacting the company for support, sent emails, everything else, and no response. Another guy had one of the AR-15 style guns. Supposedly, he was just shooting 2 3/4 inch buckshot in it, and he was firing the gun in the third, fourth session. A friend of his was firing the gun, and you know, I watched the video. There was nothing unusual. He fired 2 rounds. In the third round, the whole bottom lower receiver magwell just blew off the gun. Okay, and again, he was trying to contact these people, and he did it on Facebook of all things. He found the company's Facebook page and sent them emails and put it out, and they got some sort of response. Whether they repaired it or made it good, or a lot of these guns, when people really complain about them, they basically send them a whole new gun. Send back the broken gun, and they send them a new gun. Okay, so actually after seeing this, we'll go out and shoot it some more now. But from what I've seen here, these problems, these small problems, this is not good. To me, this is a total failure, a serious one, even though the gun didn't blow up, the receiver, or didn't crack, or something. These are problems to where if you try to rely on this gun, it will malfunction on you. And I believe as time goes on and I put some more rounds through it, it's going to get worse. So for now, what I'm going to do is when this part comes in a couple days, I'm going to change it out. And then we'll go out and shoot this again, and we'll see if that pin falls out or what happens there. But actually, I'm going to tell you, this is, don't buy one of these. Put here, even if it's $110, and that's why they're selling it for $110. They must come back. People must complain. And I, for the life of me, do not know where them parts went. They're not in the gun unless they were loose in there and during shooting they just fell out. Or they fell out when I was assembling it, or broke off and then just didn't get in the gun when I was assembling it. I don't know. Okay, that's probably why I had a hard time getting the trigger group out, if something was misshapen or broken. Maybe it was broken already. And that's why I couldn't get the trigger group out of it. You know, I'm not quite sure when I first disassembled it. I remember I had a hard time getting that out. Alright guys, I hate to say it looks like this is going to end. This ain't going to end well with this one. Okay, we got some more to review, but this one here, I'm going to tell you right now in this video, seeing this, don't buy this. Okay, you know, stay away from it. Alright, and then we'll see how it progresses. Thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.